The Cleveland Cavaliers are the best team in basketball, which is something these Cavs fans haven't heard since the end of the LeBron era. Not only are they dominating everybody in their conference, but they're beating up on every opponent they go up against, and they may very well be favorites to win it all this year. This is no exaggeration. The Cavaliers are currently undefeated, and while I know this won't last forever and eventually a loss will come their way, the Cavaliers are no fluke of a team where they're just going up against easy opponents early on. In fact, the opposite could be argued, because a majority of the Cavaliers' wins this season have come against teams that are projected to make the playoffs. I mean, you've got wins against the New York Knicks, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Orlando Magic, 2 against the Milwaukee Bucks, and those are all back to back for this Cavaliers team. I don't think anybody in the NBA world could have told you that the Cavs are going to do exactly what they've done at the beginning of this season. And I think that speaks a lot to the growth of their young core, who at this point can't really be called young and inexperienced anymore, because a majority of their core are on or near their second contract. I mean, a guy like Evan Mobley is about to get paid huge money next season because he's already signed that extension. Darius Garland's already making $30 million. Donovan Mitchell is going to be making $50+ million a year at the end of his Cavs contract. The youngest guy in this Cavs core has played 3 full seasons in the NBA already. Now, this Cavs core has had about the last 2 seasons together, right? And in that first year, they made the playoffs, had 51 wins, and what did they do? They get bounced in the first round to a New York Knicks team. They only ended up winning 1 playoff game. And at that moment, it felt like, okay, well, Donovan Mitchell was traded here, and if we don't get our shit together, he may very well leave come free agency. So we have to lock in. And that takes us to last season, where the Cavs win less games in the regular season, but the East was much stronger. So the Cavs end up finishing middle of the pack. They go against an Orlando Magic team who is very much the exact opposite of what the Cavs have been built around, where one team relies heavily on the offense while the other is purely defense. And in the end, the Cavs ended up beating the Magic in 7 games and go on to absolutely get bodied by the Celtics in the next round. However, that one playoff series gave enough hope to the organization that this core could do a lot. And apparently, Donovan Mitchell felt the same way, which is why he signed his extension and will be there for the long haul. A major worry for this organization since Donovan Mitchell has joined the team is, when will he leave? Will he leave early on and will we have to blow this whole thing up? Or will he finally sign that extension? And that's exactly what happened. However, not everybody in the Cavs organization was able to survive the offseason. Because the Cavs didn't make a whole lot of moves roster-wise in free agency, the front office kind of needed a scapegoat and needed to shake things up, so they decide to get themselves a new head coach, which meant that JB Bickerstaff was out the door. And JB Bickerstaff was the team's head coach since late into the 2020 season, right? He came in towards the bubble time, and with the Cavaliers, he took them from a 22-win team in 2021 to 48 wins and winning a playoff series. However, that just wasn't enough for this Cavs team to keep him around for the long haul, which is why they decided to move on from him this season and go with a guy like Kenny Atkinson, who does have some previous head coaching experience. However, his only other stint as a head coach in the NBA was his 4 years with the Brooklyn Nets, and that ended terribly, right? He was brought in to help rebuild the Brooklyn Nets, and then they ended up landing a few superstars. He didn't mesh well with those superstars, and next thing you know, Kenny Atkinson is out the door. And I don't think the failures in Brooklyn rest solely on his shoulders. Sure, was he a part of it? Maybe, but I think he's still a great head coach, and I think he's perfect for the Cavs team and what they're trying to do right now. So he is also an important piece that I felt like mentioning in this Cavs kind of surprising run early on into the season. And before I talk about the Cavs' biggest reason as to why they've seen so much improvement this year, I just wanted to remind you guys to slow down, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Every subscription is greatly appreciated and goes a long way. We're on the road to 5,000, so please subscribe. Alright, now let's get back into talking about the Cavs. Now, the biggest reason as to why they've seen so much success is their starting five. They've got two great big men down low in Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. And the thing about Jarrett Allen is that he is a reliable center, and Kenny Atkinson knows this. I mean, they shared some time in Brooklyn together, so I feel like those two fit very well. And then you got Evan Mobley, who is a rising star, and I do think in his prime, he will be a top 5 power forward in this league. I can promise you that. Now, as for their backcourt, well, they've got two great guards. One in their superstar, Donovan Mitchell, and the other in Darius Garland, who has been with the team his entire career, and I feel like is finally finding his role on this squad. And last but not least, you got Dean Wade as your wing, and while he may be the most replaceable guy in the starting lineup, he's done exactly what the Cavs have asked from him. And that's probably why you will see Dean Wade getting a bag in the next 1 to 2 years, whether it be with Cleveland or another team around the league. Now, what I really want to do is get deeper into their superstar. Okay, pause. What I want to do is talk more about Donovan Mitchell. You see, Donovan Mitchell is by far their best player. He's a 5-time All-Star, has made the All-NBA second team, and has been in MVP convos since joining the Cavaliers. However, he's seen a decline in production. His points per game, assists, rebound, steals are all down. His minutes per game are down, along with the rest of the starting lineup. And what's happening here is that the team is asking Donovan Mitchell to do less, because the one thing that's gone up for him is his efficiency. His field goal percentage has gone up, and his three-point percentage has looked way better. And you see a bit of a trend with the rest of the team in this, but still, Donovan Mitchell, the weight is being lifted off of his shoulders. And while relying on a superstar isn't the worst thing, when you rely too heavily, it leads to injuries and isn't the most reliable method when it comes playoff time. So I think that Donovan Mitchell being asked to do less is actually a great thing for this team. And one person who's benefiting from Donovan Mitchell taking a bit of a back seat has been his backcourt duo in Darius Garland. Darius Garland is now averaging 20 points. Last year it's a bit of a step up from that. He's finally shooting over 50% from the field, the first time he's ever done that throughout his career, and is nearly shooting 45% from the three-point line, which is a major improvement because for the entirety of Darius Garland's career, he hasn't been the most effective three-point shooter, and things are starting to change in that area. Now, for Jarrett Allen, you look at him and his rebounds have gone up. Jarrett Allen is being asked to play more defensively, especially because more is being asked out of Evan Mobley to score. Another guy who's seen a bit of a scoring bump this year has been Evan Mobley. Like I said, he is going to be their star, one of their stars going forward, so he is going to need to score more points, and that's exactly what's happening as he's averaging a career-high 17.6 points per game. And I know he has been a DPOY candidate. He was third in the running his second year in the league, and that'll continue. But still, with Evan Mobley's offensive game improving, along with the great defense he already has, you're looking at a nasty starting five for this Cavs team. And I haven't even gotten to their bench yet. And the best player on this Cavs bench by far is Caris LeVert. He could arguably be in the starting lineup over Dean Wade. However, he is a great leader for the second unit, and that's why he's playing off the bench, right? He gives them a good scoring boost, averaging 12 points, and has 4.3 assists per game, along with nearly 2 rebounds. The best thing about Caris LeVert this season is that he's shooting 61% from the field. I know it's going to drop off, and his 52% from the three-point line. Those are both great numbers that will see a bit of a decline, but for right now, Caris LeVert, you can't ask for anything more out of the guy. And he's doing all of this on the least amount of minutes per game since his rookie year. While he is the sixth man for this team, his minutes have went from 28 into the 30 range to down to 21 minutes a game. And you haven't seen him complain at all. In fact, I feel like Caris LeVert has kind of embraced that best player off the bench, that sixth man. And there's more than just Caris LeVert on this bench unit. They also got a guy like a Ty Jerome, who's averaging 9 points a game in 15 minutes. Talk about being effective when it matters. And you got role players like Georges Niang and Sam Morril, who know what their job is. Georges Niang's job on the second unit, get rebounds. Sam Morril's job, be a white boy who sits in the corner and makes a couple threes a game. And last but not least, Isaac Okoro, who's been a bit of a bust, and we can kind of glance over him, right? And that's about it for the Cavaliers so far. I mean, the interesting thing about the Cavs is that they haven't had the same leading scorer in back-to-back games. Every game it's been a new leading scorer, whether it be Evan Mobley or Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, or every once in a while even a Dean Wade leading the team in scoring. So you never know who's going to pop off for this Cavs team. But anyway, I think I've covered everything I've wanted to, so I'll catch y'all later. Much love. Deuces.